Alright, guys. So I figured I would jump into something a little lighter than the complete and utter annihilation of my country. Particularly theist and atheist relationships. Significant others, if you will. So, this is my opinion, and I'd be interested if you disagree or your opinion, period, what you think about it. I believe that it's best to just keep separate on this one, not to engage in relationships with people of the complete opposite. So when it comes to people who are kind of, I guess, their belief is not really like on a spectrum, is not even close to being an important part of their identity, then it doesn't really matter that much. But for people who it does, and I would say most people, this one is sort of a big deal because it's, again, not an island. It's not something that affects nothing else in your life, it affects your entire worldview. And as a result, there are a lot of issues that come about, and I have experience in this. So you can try all you want to avoid the topic, but that's not going to work. Again, if it's something that's important to you, it's going to come up. Even if people try not to, again, it affects everything. It affects your views about nearly anything. So it's going to happen. You're going to end up having to engage in commentary on the subject at some point. And I would say if you don't and you just kind of go, this is a no touch topic, then you're kind of in a weird frickin' like almost a toxic relationship anyway. So I believe that it's best to just not mix when it comes to this one. Um, Again, it does depend on the people in question and how important it is to you. But I don't know what it is with me, but people who are in general, this is only my experience, so it's obviously biased and it's anecdotal, but, and also I'm a very unique person in terms of my worldview. Like, I'm not like a cookie cutter atheist, so to speak, not by any stretch. So when I meet other atheists, women, um, there tends to be ethical dilemmas, and I don't entirely know why. Like, I guess in some ways I'm obviously not a theist, but I am culturally theist, or not culturally theist. I share certain ethical principles that is predominantly found in religious people, I guess would be a good way to put it. Um, so this isn't always the case, but in my experience, over and over and over, there's like some sort of ethical issue. So what I find in my experience, again, is that atheists tend to view, like, this is just something that's important to me, just as an example, but casual sex. They tend to view it as just, it's nothing. It's, uh, it's just like a frickin' random, like, bodily function type deal. Which to me is factually incorrect because there's a whole lot more to it than that, especially when you explore the emotional aspect of things. And many men in particular disagree with me on this because, well, obviously men are like kind of they're kind of more wired to just be like go fuck people randomly and like that's all that matters. Like it's really sad honestly, but uh I'm kind of already in a strange place there. But I've noticed that women that are atheist, and again, this is not all, but more so than theists, they have this belief that it's not important, that it's not indicative of their personality in any way, that they don't take relationships very seriously. Or I should word that differently. They don't take they don't link sex and emotional attraction or like a bond. They're not. There's not a link there. It's not really necessary, I guess. And that to me becomes an ethical dilemma because I don't engage in that. Period. For moral reasons, I do not consider human beings objects for my pleasure. Many people disagree with me on this, and you're more than welcome to, but I highly doubt anyone's going to change my mind on that. But this is just one. So it becomes problematic because I feel like I don't know how to put it. Like, it is not necessary for people to have religion or a god, gods, whatever, in order to have morality. That's absolute horseshit. However, I would not say that there is not a correlation between specific types of ethical things or morality and whether you're a theist or atheist, because that would be untrue. There are obviously correlations. Correlation does not imply causation, but still, we're not even getting into all that. We're just, this is what I see, right? So, again, it's not as simple as theists are more moral. In fact, I've actually shown in the past through videos and actual statistics that in many ways that's the opposite. But I do believe that in general, they tend to line up on certain issues ethically more with myself. So this presents a major problem because I don't know, like within the last 6 months or so, the I've kind of made it clear that I'm really not looking for anyone, and I'm not. That's just the truth. Um, I'm kind of in a purposeful like uh, self interest period, I guess. I don't not to sound like selfish, but it's just like I'm focusing on myself for now. But the people who have shown interest, that have like kind of thrown out hints, I guess, and that's how it tends to work in our culture because people are, in general, especially women. I'm not attacking, but this just tends to be the case. Women tend to be less likely to engage first, right? So when they do show attraction, it's in very vague ways where they have like plausible deniability. They have like this little back door where they're like, that's not what that meant. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And even men are doing that now because things aren't as like simple as they once were. Um, so I guess where I'm going with that is where the fuck was I going with that? My brain just went dead completely. Um, what did I just say? women not making the first move. I have no idea where I was going with that. But yeah, I'll just jump in, I guess, randomly here with my general overarching topic. To some extent, I think that I'm not going to call it lack of religiosity. What I'll call it is lack. Like, I think sometimes people, this is not all atheists, but I think that there is sometimes a gravitation toward atheism for specific people. And what I mean is people who are very selfish, who don't give a shit about anyone but themselves, who like they see the entire world through what can you do for me? What can this event how can this event benefit me? It's never through any other lens. These people tend to use the concept of atheism as like a way to not have to have ethics, or as a way to have arbitrary ethics that they completely shift around all over the place. Like there's no grounding, no foundational, like, hey, these are the specific virtues that are important to me and they will always be important to me. They will claim that certain things are important to them, but they will shift them whenever it benefits them. And that is, to me, the hallmark of a shitty human being. Um, yeah, and I see that in many. Again, it's not all, because you don't have to be a theist to be a decent person. But I guess what I would say is there's a pocket. There's like a denomination, to use a religious term. There's like a little denomination of like a particular pocket of atheists that do this specifically. And there are a decent amount of them, at least in my experience. I believe there's a decent amount of them. It's impossible to really know for sure, but it's sad. And yeah, I don't know how to combat it, or if there is a way to combat it, or I don't know. Is there a solution to it? But yeah, I'm curious to what other people think. Like, do you think that it's a good idea for people that are, like, for an atheist to date a theist and vice versa? Because I think that it's just uh, where I was going earlier. I jump all over the place. It's natural for me. Is the people that tend to show interest in me are theists for whatever reason. I don't know what the fuck it is, because I'm a very outspoken atheist. Like, it doesn't take long for people to figure out that I am not a believer. So, despite that, uh, I don't know. Maybe it's my particular set of ethics. I don't know, but like it's weird, and I don't think it's a good idea, and I don't think I can do that. It's inevitably going to lead to failure. I like it's too fundamental to who I am. Like like even there will always be like this back, like in the back of my head, like this sort of, I don't want to call it scorn. That's a little too strong of a word, but almost like maybe pity is the right word, but not too strong. Like there's always going to be some issues there. It's going to be a barrier, and I don't think it'll work. But anyway, I figured I'd jump into something a little bit more light than fucking constant MAGA shit. Yeah. Looking forward to anyone's opinion on the matter. Thank you for your time.